Where's my target dummies? Oh, yes. Okay. Excellent. It's Dracthyr time. So what I'm going to do is... Oh, yeah, look at this, right? So this is Landslide. Conjure a path of shifting stone towards the target direction, rooting enemies for 30 seconds. This is just your big root, right? And this is how cool your root looks. Like, what the fuck, man? Really cool. I mean, other things. Oh, yeah. So this is your movement ability, Hover, right? Look at this shit. So it boosts you forward, and then you can cast while moving. So you can do that, and then while you're moving, you can cast.
Sorry, shamans, you're now completely irrelevant.
Yep,
Good luck with that
shamans.
one.
And you can get 2 stacks of that, which is madness.
2 charges on a 35-second cooldown, which means it's pretty much substantially better than Spirit Walker's Grace. I think maybe it lasts a bit shorter, but it's more useful in general combat. But it does come with the unfortunate downside that it doesn't work for empowered abilities, which I think will feel very strange.
Yeah, here's an empowered. So it's got pretty cool sound effects. So the more you hold that down, in this case, the more its damage over time will be. So if you're just quickly fighting a single target, you'll always have the same upfront damage, but your, the dot component, will be different. So maybe you just want to do it quite short. But certainly, like, if you're, imagine an M+, you just do that, and just bam, you've just blammed everybody with a fire breath, and that'll feel pretty damn good. Here's Disintegrate, it's another essence spender. So kind of like a big beam thing. Very interesting that I don't have combat text. That's an alpha bug, I'm fairly sure. I experienced that a little while ago. But let's get this character... Oh, wait. I need to use Deep Breath. Are you ready for this shit? Rip critters. Now, there's a talent that you can then... Basically means you can use this again when it's finished casting, and you return right back to your start position. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, the fun thing about that is actually that you have Deep Breath. That's not a DPS ability. That's a class general ability. So you always have that, even if you're a healer. But the healer gets its own version as an end cap talent, which is called Dream Flight. And it also works with the tap your button to return. So you can actually do that, but also healing differently and kind of teleport around the place. Which is kind of
neat. So I guess one thing I can do, and this is what's good about the new UI, I can go to edit mode, I can, click in one of these bars, quick keybind mode. And now I can just quickly keybind everything. So, you can use the escape key to unassign them. And,
well, remember that's a feature in Shadowlands.
Oh, the quick keybind?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know if it was 9.0, it might have been 9.1 or something. But same with the mouse over by default stuff, that was like mid Shadowlands.
Huh. Well, there you go. So let me set these up.
And yeah, you can add more bars. You can add, at the minute, like this is a very, very early version. Most of the stuff's not actually in. At the minute, you can add, I think you can add all the normal bars you usually can. So you've got bar 1, 2, 3, and then 2 on the right. I think that's it limited for now. Maybe there's a 6th, and you can kind of move them around freely and change if they're vertical or horizontal. So it's kind of like Bartender, very light at the minute. So
yeah, I think it's just yet to be seen, like how far they're actually going to go with it. Let's just turn on a third action bar. I've hit edit mode. There it is. Yeah, cool. Not that I really need it. So I'm going to slowly build this up. Right, Devastation. I actually have no Devastation abilities yet. If I go to just Evoker, I can get my Fire Breath, which I'll put in my mouse button. I've got Deep Breath, which I will put Shift that. Of course, this is great. I'm going to use different keybinds to what I did in the previous alpha, so I'm just going to completely confuse myself into oblivion. So here we have a new ability. It's called Emerald Blossom. It's like a spec-wide ability. So clicking this basically throws a bulb down, and after 2 seconds, it heals up to 3 allies for a bunch. So that's just pretty handy to be able to drop all the time. We also have Blessing of the Bronze. This is like, this is pretty cool. Weave the Threads of Time, reducing the cooldown reducing the cooldown of a major movement ability for all party and raid members by 15% for an hour. So more movement abilities with that. Pretty neat. They also have Return for rezzing people. And with that said, I think it's time for us to start building our talents out. So the first thing I want to show you is just a tiny bit of combat with our very like base out of the box stuff. So right now I have Fire Breath. This will do upfront damage, hits up to 5 targets, and the longer you hold it in, the more damage it will do over more time. So yeah, do that. You can see this new targeting UI. And there you go, using the target dummy. I then have Living Flame. So this is just a single target damage, but if you cast it on yourself, it's a heal. We then have Azure Strike, which basically is it's almost like a 2-target, like an Ice Lance kind of thing that you can just fire off. But there's a lot of talents that change it up and add in more interactions. And then this is Essence here, so that just generates over time. I can spend it doing a Disintegrate. This does a bunch of damage, and I believe it also slows the enemy movement speed. With that said, let's actually build this spec. So, yeah, first up, Pyre. Now, Pyre costs 3 Essence. I think it costs 2 once you get another talent. And then I'm going to get Ruby Essence Burst and Azure Essence Burst. So these mean that my 1 and my 2, my Living Flame and Azure Strike, have a 20% chance and 15% chance to cause an Essence Burst, which makes my next Essence costing ability free. Cost no Essence. So it's a pretty standard mechanic in the game. So yeah, I mean, Pyre is pretty neat. So you throw that and it does an explosion. But it then has a chance, I think in one of the talents, Volatility, 30% chance to flare up and then explode again on a nearby target. Which, I mean, it's 30%, so we're, might take us a little while to actually get one of those. So that, like, imagine in an AoE situation, you'll just be, putting a bunch of Pyres in. Need to work out with a target cap or how that works, for Pyre. Anyway, so let's just get 20% more damage for Disintegrate. Then I'm going to get this, Dance Energy. Pyre's essence cost is reduced by 1. So that will now mean I can use a Pyre. You can see the way that it bounced again. So you can imagine some crazy stuff happening in AoE with Pyre. So I think that could end up being just one of those abilities that, makes your entire screen light up like a Christmas tree. So then we move into Ruby Affinity, which is just more damage for your red spells. I'm going to get Dragon Rage. This is your main class cooldown. Basically, whenever you use it... oh, hang on. I need to actually apply my changes. Whenever you use this, you will immediately cast 3 Pyres at enemies, and then you will get an Essence Burst 100% of the time with your other ability. So if I was to do this... So I fired off 3 Pyres, and it bounced about, and now I'm getting free... I can use my instant Azure Strike... proc an Essence Burst, and in this case, I could just dump a bunch of Disintegrates, or maybe if I'm in an AoE situation, I could dump a whole bunch of Pyres, and yeah, it would work like that. So, there's some basics. Now, let's advance things a bit. So this is a new type of node, these octagonal ones. These are choice nodes. So I can have an Engulfing Blaze, which means my Living Flame. That will deal 40% increased damage and healing, but its cast time is 0.5 seconds longer. Then there's Ruby Embers. This basically adds a dot component that also is a hot if you do it in allies, and it stacks up to 3 times. So that's 2 very different gameplay options. I'll go with the dot for now. We then move into Firestorm. So this is basically like a little explosion thingy, and with this talent down here, your Living Flame can proc it for free. So I'm going to keep on building the tree out, though. So Cascading Power, Essence Burst has a 10% chance not to be consumed. So that just means you can really go blasting. So Cascading Power. Font of Magic, your empowered spell's maximum level is increased by 1. So now, if I look at my Fire Burst... Oh, I do not want to cast you. If I look at this, it now has a 4th level that deals 9,000 damage over 16 seconds. So for this, I mean, you can really charge that bad boy up. Like that. Now, there's another ability that synergizes with that really well, which I'll get to soon enough. So at this point, right, I want to keep on moving, but look at this. I need to spend 5 more talents. So we could go and let's have our main CD last a bit longer. That sounds good. Empower spells reach their maximum level 20% faster. Sounds good to me. There are other ones down here, like Deep Breath's damage is increased by 10%. That's like the big Fire Breath. Pretty awesome, so let's get some of that. And then Essence Burst stacks 2 times. Being able to have 2 stacks of that, I think is pretty great, so I'll go for that too. I could like move into Azure Affinity if I wanted to focus more on my blue spells, which would be Azure Strike and Disintegrate. Now, I think Disintegrate is going to end up being more important in a like single target context, so maybe I won't go for that. So here's another one. Power Swell. Empower spells increase your essence regeneration rate by 50% for 2 seconds per empower level, so that's pretty damn nice. That would, I suppose, that would make you want to spread out your Fire Breath, and then this one here, Eternity Surge, which is your other essence or empowered ability. So that's kind of an interesting one. But to get to Eternity Surge, I would need to go through Azure Affinity, which, to show you it, I'm going to do that now. So I can then go for Snap Fire. This means that my my Living Flame can give me an instant Firestorm. So I'll show you what Firestorm is now. I'll show you what Eternity Surge is. So Firestorm, where's the little PvP? Where's the little creeps? I can't find him. I could do these critters, though. So, yeah, Firestorm. Oh, did I not set up those keybinds? I didn't set those keybinds up. Thankfully, that's really quick and easy to do, though. So I click here. Quick mode. Shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. All right. So this looks like this. So it kind of summons this thing. This will just fire around and start like blasting dudes down. So that's all pretty fun. So this here, Firestorm, if I just keep on spamming Living Flames, eventually I'm going to proc a free instant one. And you can see I've got a dot rolling there. So if you actually want to do like some mild multi-dotting, you can do that. And here it is, so that's procced. And bam, I can fire off that. I've got a bunch of Essence Blasts or Essence Surges that I've kind of wasted. And I've also capped on my Essence there. So, you know, you could see when you're throwing a bunch of those pyres down, I mean, man, you are certainly going to be doing a lot of AoE DPS. Feed the Flames. Pyre reduces the remaining cooldown of Fire Breath by 2 seconds. I think you can see how in an AoE situation, that's something you're going to really want. And, okay, let's go for Burnout, which means my Fire Breath reduces the cast time of Living Flame by 8% for 8 seconds, which does feel a bit better. And now, funny situation where I'm going to have to go out of Eternity. Yeah, I'll show you Eternity Surge, and I'll talent out of it. So Eternity Surge is another empowered ability. If I was to use it here, you basically charge up, and it does that. So pretty awesome. It would feel better if my combat text was appearing, that's for sure. That's Eternity Surge. Now that damages currently up to 4 enemies. But there is a talent in here that, yeah, Eternity Surge and Azure Strike hits twice as many targets. So if you're going, basically there's like a red AoE build, there's a blue AoE build, and then there's kind of like a more single target way of weaving all that stuff together, I suppose. So it's one of those things where I'm not super sure how it's going to end up being built, to be honest. But hey, we'll get there. And of course, I'm only level 65, so I think I do get 3 more points in this talent tree. That would be enough for me to go for Ever-Burning Flame, and then maybe like just, you know, some more stuff around here. I mean, certainly Heatwave, Fire Breath does 20% more damage over time. You would definitely want to get Heatwave if you were then going for Ever-Burning Flame, because that will mean that your Pyre and your Living Flame will extend the duration of your Fire Breath damage over time, so you can keep that rolling for longer. And if you're getting that up on multiple targets, it's going to feel good. Now, I've only done the right-hand side of my talents. I also have the left-hand side. Okay, so we got Landslide, which is, just to remind you, I'll drag that in my bar and, fuck it, we'll put it here. So this is a route that, you know, bam, get fucked, dear. I feel kind of bad. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's keep on going. So, Obsidian Scales, reinforce your scales, just gives you a bunch of armor, so want that to live longer. Disintegrate, channels faster, Landslide's cooldown's reduced, and it can withstand more damage before breaking. That's going to be a pretty damn good time, maybe if you're trying to root people in M+. Essence regenerates faster, maybe you want that. I mean, some of these don't feel particularly optional, to be honest. Quell is basically just your interrupt, so I'll put that there for now. We've got Recall. Now, this is cool. This is what Recall does. And you're going to be a total bastard if you're using this in PvP, to be honest. So, if I do... This is actually awkward. I need a rebind so that I can strafe in this character. Right, so if I do this... Okay. Because of that talent, I can then pop back to my original location. So you're just going to be zooping all around the map. Because not only that, but, you know, I can then glide away. And if you want something that's truly fucked, you can talent into having 2 charges of glide. So that's crazy. Like, your mobility is just humongous. What else? Obsidian Bulwark. Do I want that? Right, this is whack. This is crazy. So I've made it so that my hover has a movement speed increase of 70% for the first 4 seconds, and it lasts 4 seconds longer. Are you ready for some fucking mobility? I did it wrong. I pressed the button, but I wasn't using a movement key. Okay, put a pin in that. I'll get back to it as soon as it's off CD. So, kind of going through this, I mean, magic damage, that seems useful. Blast Furnace, Fire Breath, instant damage increased, that seems useful. What else? Ancient Flame, probably don't need that. Oh, tip the scales. Compress time to make your next empowered spell cast instantly at its max empower level. So, I mean, with that, right, I could just, you know, hit this, and then just, you know... Oh, wrong button. Like, bam, there's just an instant, fully powered, you know, fiery dude. Okay, are you ready for something insane? You ready for some goddamn mobility? Okay. Zoop! And now I'm just moving so fast. And you know what's really crazy? I think you can actually get 2 stacks of this. Wait, you can, right, Matt?
2 stacks of hover?
Yeah. Yeah, 2 stacks of hover. That's madness. That's
also,
madness.
For if you're a healer, you also have an ability on an 18-second cooldown affected by haste called Rescue, which is basically, and I can't remember the name of it, but the Sage ability in FF where you dash to your Icarus, where you dash to your ally, but you also heal them, and that becomes part of your healing rotation. And on the right side of the tree, like the class tree there's Fly With Me, where you can basically target an ally, press this button and pick a location. You'll go to your ally, pick them up, and bring them to that location once a minute, and you can talent it for the 30% max HP shield, which is, let's say, busted. Busted.
Yeah, I mean, not busted, but speaking of power, so, you know my Deep Breath? It now stuns people for 3 seconds, and I have Time Spiral. Bend time, allowing you and your allies to cast their major movement ability once in the next 10 seconds, even if it's on cooldown. Do you want just super aspect of the Fox?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, where I was just immediately thinking, okay, well, this means, you know, you've got, in case he's listening, I'm not actually talking about you, Luke, but a DK who's like, I don't have Death's Advance up, I can't move, I'm going to die. You can either give them more Death's Advance, like regularly with Blessing of the Bronze, so they're more likely to have it up. You can Time Spiral them so they can actually do it themselves and run out, or you can Fly With Me to bring them over with you. Or you can use Zephyr, because Zephyr is 20% avoidance and 30% move speed for like 6 to 8 seconds or something. It's like, what if it... Oh yeah, here's Stampeding Roar and Devotion Aura, or, you know, Aura Mastery Devotion Aura on one button. Power creep, haha.
So someone said there, what's the cooldown for Deep Breath? So just to remind you on stream, if you don't remember what Deep Breath is, look at this. This will do a bunch of damage and stun people for 3 seconds, and with one talent, I can teleport back to my original spot. So that is on a 2-minute cooldown. However, with this end cap talent, Fire Breath and Eternity Surge reduce the remaining cooldown of Deep Breath and Dragon Rage by 1 second per empower level. So if you're casting those at like a 4 empower, then you know, that's 4 seconds of cast. Okay, so my Hearthstone is up. We've done some class testing. Let's go back to the Trade District and then head into the Dragon Isles and do some shit.